All right. Well, hey, team, Coaches Up for Change. It's Dee Corchin, and here with you for our Monday night team time where we come together every week, really to celebrate you, what you guys are doing together as a collective team, all those that we are helping, and to learn and grow together. Our community is just the best, isn't it? So I posted in the group, I mean, you guys blowing it out of the water. Thank you to Optavia for giving us the Essential Start incentive that started last month, but you guys blew it up and we had a new record of almost 600 new clients. 600 new clients between all of you guys. So hands up for that. Congratulations. Whether you helped 20, doesn't matter, reactivated, new, it is great. And we had like almost 40 coaches rank up, 6 new leadership ranks, a lot of new coaches joining our organization. So some really, really good stuff happening. And just a reminder, this Wednesday night in the evening, there is a Benefits of Health Coaching webinar. So for those clients and coaches you have that have been on the fence, having them watch that, get a different perspective. I know there's a former registered nurse who is going to be leading it, Dr. JC Dornick, who is a chiropractor, some really, really good stories. So don't miss that. And you can use the recording as well. But Optavia has given us this gift, you guys, of the Essential Start continuing through May. So it's a way for us to keep our momentum. And I shared on the leadership call today, I was in a planning meeting for the Grow Global, and I heard this quote, the Grow Global event coming up, and they said, the most precious thing in our business is momentum. And once we have it, you never want to lose it. So if you've been on a roll, if you've been doing all your actions, doing the things and seeing the results, I just encourage you to stay with it. Of course, taking your time for rest. We're going to talk about that and our energy tonight, but it's just a really, really great opportunity. So we're going to do our inspiration tonight. We had 6 new rank ups to leadership. So I'm going to have one of them share with us tonight. And Suzanne, I grew up in upstate New York, and I can usually pronounce most French or Canadian last names. You're going to have to help me with yours, though. If I'm coming from Northern Maine, is Suzanne, want to pronounce it for me?
You actually got it this afternoon.
Okay, so when I said Mornol, is that right?
Yes, I was so impressed.
Yep. So yay. See, I still remember my roots. Good. That's awesome. That is awesome. So Suzanne has only been coaching since last fall. From my understanding, she's going to share her story. Michelle Labby is her coach, and just excited that you reached the rank of executive director. And if you would just share for us a few minutes your story, maybe anything you've worked through and what you're excited about.
I would love to. So in August, I became a client, and really it was due to the fact that Michelle Labby, who's been a longtime friend, was very patient and compassionate. And I threw the towel in. I'd been watching her for a while. In October, I became a coach, and some of my mindset challenges were: 1, I wasn't sure if it would be a good fit for my already busy lifestyle. I didn't know if I could pull it in and do it. 2, how could I intertwine good health into what I was already doing through our nonprofit that I run in the state of Maine? And then the third thing was, how in the world can I be a health coach? I haven't considered health for 30 years. Like, who's going to listen to me? That was just probably my biggest challenge in my mind. But in November, I listened to Lucy, who spoke about her journey as a health coach and how she prioritized what was most important in her life. And it really confirmed in my spirit that I could do the same. And thank you, Lucy, for that, because that was, when I was listening to you, that was like, I can do this. That was the first time that my mind started to shift into the possibility that I could do it. In December, Dee, you challenged me to dream bigger. And what you said was this, and I thought, you know what, I like this lady. I don't really know her, but I like her, because you said to care more about people than rank. And I really want to care more about people than rank. And that's my heart. And that just stuck with me. I get those notes. I wrote that down in my little journal. January, I became an AD. And Lauren challenged me through her weekly Bible study to be bold, to welcome being outside of my comfort zone, because that's where things happen. And that we really, truly are made for more. And again, there was that mind shift again. I'm made for more. I believe that, you know. And then it really was combined with, and I'm going to blow the name probably, but was it Delia Garcia that spoke? And she challenged me through the sharing of her story that it can really become a business. For me, that brings in the revenue that I would like to see in order to pour into the brain injury community that I'm already serving. Can you imagine what you can do with cash? Like just the possibility. When I think, you know, if I had this amount of money coming in every month because of my coaching, which is very nicely intertwining into my life, what can I do for the brain injured community? You know, what need can I meet in my state? So that really helps me to think of it in a bigger way. And then in March, I became an AD. So really, honestly, just to cap it all up, my thoughts on, you know, what really to glean from this is every person in our journey is a very important part. They will encourage us, they will assist us, and they will challenge us to be the best version of ourselves. We really are what we think. Pray big and begin to dream, because there really is no limits to what you can accomplish when you're a part of an amazing team like we have.
Okay, wow. I'm like mind blown. Like you never know what anyone shares. Lucy, I mean, did you have any idea the influence that you had and the inspiration on somebody else? Lauren, your words, and I think I saw Gina put it in the comments, like, this is why we come to Team Time, right? We into events and whatever, we learn from each other. And I have goosebumps because of your vision and what you see possible with it, right? Like your heart is so in the right place that there is absolutely no coincidence that the people are being placed on your path to be able to help. So this is going to be fun to see where it goes. So thank you for sharing that. Because I know somebody's going to be saying one day what you said made a difference in the way that they saw it. So thank you. And, you know, that ties so closely into what we're going to talk about and energy with our business. I don't want to forget it, because we are going to do a breakout room experience towards the end. And sometimes we run short on time with that. But just a couple quick reminders, you guys. I just got a note that convention is this close to being sold out. So if you are a new coach, or if you've never been to convention, you're not sure about it, even an experienced coach, talk to your coach, and you want to be there. You want to get your seat, be in the room, just to really, really see. If you think this is good, I mean, just imagine what it would be like with the energy of being with Dr. A. So I don't want you to miss that. And then we are going to be, we are in the planning stages, and we've got our own individual for our team, executive director and above leadership retreat happening in October, with qualification dates this summer of June, July, and August. So be planning for that, and who can come with you. It is going to be something super, super special. And sometimes when I talk fast, things come out of my mouth. And I think I might've said essential savings was good through May. Did not mean that. It is good through April 18th, just as all the literature and terms and conditions state. So thanks for pointing that out, because I never know what's going to come out of this mouth. But something that's been really important. I always try to pay attention to trends of when I'm working with different coaches, and maybe things that they're working through. And there's a couple of different things that make a difference in our business. And one we know is our action. Our action makes a tremendous difference. Our consistency, all of that is super, super important. Our effort that we're putting into it. But what also greatly matters is our energy, and the energy, what's behind that. And then also, what kind of time are you taking to grow personally from the inside? What kind of time are you taking for downtime to protect yourself so that you can be in your best energy? And many of you guys know my story, but some of you may not. But I'm going to be coming up, I think it's next week. I'm coaching 11 years. But around year 6, I got very, very stuck in the business. I had reached global director. I felt like I had clawed my way to that rank, just working and working and working and working. And it was exhausting. And I decided at that point that I needed something needed to shift, and voila, it was me. But I got, I had a personal coach with Paul Blanchard. And one of the things that he really showed me was that I was just gripping My energy was what I needed in order to grow this business. And it was terrible energy, you guys. I wasn't connecting with people in the right way. And so it was unbelievable. And with some fundamental shifts and some work on my part, growing, because I had been doing all the work and all the effort, but was able to grow from global director to presidential director in 6 months through a shift in energy. Like all the work was there, but then the way I showed up and was different. So this is a highly important topic. And sometimes it feels a little like you can't touch it, right? You can't touch it, which is a little weird, but the way energy affects us is in a couple of ways. And I have a couple of people, different people share on this. Sometimes there is a resistance in us that we want to grow this business, or maybe we want to sponsor and add coaches, but there's actually a resistance in us to it. There could be that we're questionable, like questioning whether or not we'd be able to actually lead somebody. It could be a question of, or do we know, are we comfortable with how much time? Maybe we think it's going to take a whole lot more time. So sometimes we can be offering, but the undertones are like, don't say yes, don't say yes, don't say yes. I don't know why that is, but when we can have a different mindset around it, it shifts. We can also kind of related to it, have a nervous energy or a fear. We're nervous to talk to somebody about the program. We're nervous to talk to them about coaching. So that energy, we speed up or whatever, and we can make somebody else uncomfortable. And surprisingly, they may not move forward or what we want really. We can get distracted. We can get distracted by a lot of different things, but many times life distracts us, right? What's going on over here? We love this. This is what we love, but the chaos of life can pull us away. So that affects our energy and our ability to show up. And then what I said before, like my own personal experience was just kind of gripping. And that just was such an uncomfortable place to be for me and people I was interacting with. So I think I first want to start with Debbie Pasco. So Debbie's had some fundamental shifts in how she's showing up and in her conversations with clients and with candidates about coaching. So Debbie, can you pop in for a few minutes and share about that?
Sure. Yeah. Honestly, your intro to all of that, Dee, sounded like you looked in my brain and decided what you were going to say. Cause that's so like you talked to me. I definitely have struggled with self-confidence and thinking, oh gosh, people don't like me. And it's ridiculous, but it's just been a thing. So I became a coach in March of 2015. So I just celebrated my 7-year anniversary. And I have loved more than anything else, more than the income and the impact. I have fallen in love with this personal growth stuff that we've been doing. Not only, it's not that, so now that I'm here, it's not like life doesn't still get hard sometimes, or, I don't struggle and doubt myself at times. It's just that now I see a way bigger picture, and I have a much better perspective than I had before. So, and that's in the good times and in the bad times, just knowing, this too shall pass applies to everything. So I know there's that Jim Rohn saying that a lot of people just use the first part of the saying, but the whole saying is, he says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better, which is that's my mantra. But the rest of it says, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. So all of that to me is exactly what we're getting as coaches. So that's that personal development stuff. It's just beyond, I can't even say, because that's perfect for exactly what we do. So one area that I have needed work on is my self-confidence and that energy that I have around offering coaching. And I used to struggle talking to people about it and asking, or telling or saying, that, and I'd borrow other people's words and, talk about coaching or, whatever, and it would just come out awkward or too timid, and so just recently I heard someone use the words, that when you're talking to somebody about, how lots of people become coaches and what a difference it makes. Hang on one second. Hey guys, could you be a little quieter? Sorry, I feel like I'm competing. So, just recently, someone had used the words, talking to this client, look, this is going to happen. These people are going to notice and da, 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 da. When that happens, you can either refer them to me or we can coach them together. And I've been using that that we can coach them together thing. And all of a sudden I went away from that whole, or you could coach them, but you wouldn't be coaching them by yourself. I'd be coaching with you because we have this apprentice style part. Like it's not, it's just together, right? So that has made all the difference, a huge change in my conversations, including not only that I'm noticing that the clients are much more open and curious and want to talk about it, but I feel more confident. So I think my energy is coming out differently too. And I know that I'm going to be able to bring people along and walk them through it. It's not even like scary anymore. So I've had a number of coach explorers recently. One of my coaches became a coach. This is an interesting thing. This is part of that shift. One of my coaches became a client on the 18th of last month. And today she texted me and she was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm sending my coach kit back. It's too much. I can't do it. I'm overwhelmed. I've got the kids and the husband and I didn't panic. Like normally my inside would be like, oh crap, I screwed up, but instead I just texted her back and I was like, oh my gosh, we should definitely talk because I want to hear about what she's going through and what needs to be adjusted. And so it's not, even my energy just around that has changed. So I'm still having people cancel. I'm still having people who have issues and lactose intolerance and da-da-da-da. So life still happens, but the way I'm approaching it and the way it's hitting me is just totally different. Just changing a shift in confidence, I think.
That is so good, Debbie. There's just something about that calm, right? And what I heard was you're coming alongside somebody. Coming alongside them like, wow, we should talk, instead of talking at her and why coaching isn't a big deal and why she could do it. And she could definitely do it because it doesn't take that much time. You know what I mean? Like such a difference. A simple statement, or we could do it together. Nothing else, right? Then there's curiosity. So love that shift. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so a fellow achiever and gripper, I'm going to turn this over to Gina Manley. It was so fun. She reached the rank of FIBIC, Fully Integrated Business Coach, last month, and we were just talking about it. And I said, Gina, your energy is different. Tell me how this happened. And she achieved it once before, and then it's just always a dice game when you're first reaching a new rank. So Gina, can't wait to hear your story.
So at about the 3-year mark of coaching, I hit FIBIC, and it was scary and it was frustrating. And I felt like I was spinning my wheels all the time. And why did it take so long? Forgetting all that I had done to get to that point. And it was a race to the finish. And then you wake up the next morning at the first of the month and you're back to zero. And I think that next month, I had one senior coach, maybe 2. And I remember you and I were riding to the airport, and I had, because of reaching FIBIC, I had qualified for an event at the conference in Orlando. And I said, I feel like a fraud. I only did it once. She's like, no, you earned that. You deserve to be in the room. Jump ahead to March. And I reached FIBIC again. And so she asked me what was the difference. And I said, it's my energy. I'm a lot like Debbie in the, you get so afraid to offer it because, oh my gosh, then I have to learn how to coach a coach. I know how to coach a client, but how do I do this? And all of a sudden you start getting in your head about all the fears about offering the coaching and what does that really mean for someone else? The joy that it's brought to you, the impact it's made in your own life. And so once I learned, I took a breath really, and I exhaled. And part of it was I was engaging in personal development. I was working with Paul Blanchard in a 5-day mastermind. And I said, listen, I've got this coach notebook and it's this big of all the coaches that have quit, turned their coach kit back in. I said, I stare at that. I can't do this. I'm meant to coach clients. I'm not meant to build more. And he said, how big are you willing to let that notebook get? And it was like, And that was my shift. I exhaled after he pulled the knife out of my heart. I exhaled and said, okay. And my conversations were different. My energy was different, because if I was in that, I need to, I have to, well, who's going to be attracted to that, to want to be a coach? If they feel like I'm putting pressure on them, if they feel like they're reporting to me, you know, that job mentality. It was all these stories in my own head, but all those stories were coming out in my energy. And I realized that that was what the shift had to be, that I had to just relax and exhale and share the joy and be excited about what I do as a coach and make it so that they're excited too. And that has been the shift for me. And it didn't come down to the bitter end this month. And so I'm very confident that it's going to happen even sooner this coming month. And I've never felt that before.
Love
and it's
that.
truly the energy. Thank you.
Love it. Well, and not being attached to the outcome, right? So the folder gets bigger, right? Like they didn't see what you saw, right? But then when you could let that go and not be attached to what they chose to do with it, I bet the notebook doesn't grow that much bigger, because you're actually there, just like we said with Debbie, coming alongside them, because we're not so attached to it. So beautiful, beautiful. I hope you're seeing it's blowing up in the comments there. So, okay. Sometimes we get distracted by life. And I want to have, some of you guys might've heard some of Connie's story when she spoke on our client community call, but Connie, can you just take a minute before we go into those breakout rooms and kind of describe what happened to you a few months ago?
Sure. Well, I became a coach in June of 2020. But then last November, right after I'd had my biggest month, life got really lifey, as I call it. My daughter went into the hospital for what was supposed to be an outpatient surgery. During that 10-day stay, my sister called to tell me that she had pancreatic cancer. And we know those usually don't come out so well. And then my granddaughter broke my husband's nose, which detached his retina, and he still can't see after 2 surgeries. And without any consciousness on my part, my old identity resurfaced. I ran and pulled my tattered Superwoman cape from the closet, and Hero Mom was to the rescue. And having reintroduced sugar last summer and a lot of BLTs, that's the bite, licks, and taste, back into my diet, I was on my own variation of the structured nutrition plan, which is a very slippery slope. And besides sleeping in the recliner and the disruption to my morning routine and reacting to everybody else's emergencies, every single one I was invited to, I was looking at Optavia as the problem. The products were out of stock. The shipping was delayed. I didn't have enough time. There were too many trainings. I stopped showing up altogether. I skipped the training in Florida. And all of that, I was still making my calls, but I certainly wasn't inviting anyone to join me, because who would want what I had? I was not living this program. But the cost of staying below that was there was no creativity, there was no passion, there was no curiosity, there was no community, and I was miserable. So I decided to tell the truth on a call with Dina and with Zena and Dee, and I wrote a new story. And self-care is a big rock in my jar. I needed to put my own oxygen mask on first, beginning with my own health and digging back into the life book. I started showing up on Teen Times. I come to Power Hour twice a week. I structure my nutrition. I drink my water and have an accountability partner with that. I take consistent action. I had to let go of my need to be the hero of my family and of my clients, and said no to people pleasing and said yes to my family through helping others. The results when I put my focus and attention on serving speaks for themselves. I brought on 6 new clients last month. I made the 10,000 club again in that last month. And it's not about them or me. It's just about me too.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I mean, just, blank. Have you ever gotten distracted by life sometimes, thinking like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this? Like, and it's so funny what we start to do is we start to point the finger at everything, right? There's too many trainings, and there's this and there's that and whatever. But when you shifted all that, like suddenly that didn't matter anymore, right? There were still people to be helped, still all of that. So, anytime I think we get in and we try to control it, that was almost the opposite. You got in and tried to control the family situation, that we just, things started to fall apart.
None of that's changed, by the way. Ross still can't see. My daughter was at the doctor this afternoon. My sister's still doing her chemo and stuff, and that's okay. But I'm a healthier person, and because of that, I can care for myself and for others too, and have plenty of room for clients. So.
Wow. Lauren, I'm just going to skip the breakout room, because I just feel like if we did break out in 5 minutes, not everybody's going to have a chance to talk. Lauren, would you just pop off what you just said about the drama triangle? Would you just say that?
Yeah. So I was saying, with the drama triangle, when you're trying to be the hero, somebody else has to be the victim. And so it sounds like for you, Connie, that became Optavia, right? And all the different issues going on. And our clients can fall prey into this. Our coaches can fall prey into this. We fall prey into this. So that's where we can take that step back and say, no, I don't need to be the hero, right? We can have our clients be the hero, and the people, your husband and all the people in your world, be the hero of their own story. So, and how empowering is that, right? So anyway, thank you so much for sharing, Connie. You are always a bright light, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
So good. I'm curious if anyone, I know there's a couple people on this call that have struggled some from the go mentality. Some of us are in this like Fibic mastermind, et cetera. And the importance of sometimes recognizing that in ourselves and having to slow down, because that frantic energy can hurt us as well. I don't know if anybody has been through that would be willing to pop in and speak on it.
I will, Dee.
Okay, great.
It is a constancy versus consistency. And so many of us are working full time and doing this on the side, or we've morphed into this is what we do, but we still have that employee mentality that you have to be working all the time. And what if you miss it? What if you do this wrong? And I'm speaking me, I didn't do that right. I didn't say that right. And you get wrapped up in that. And that, again, it's that frenetic energy that starts coming through. And all the training is great, but doing what you can do is really, for me, was a big shift. Like, I'm going to do what I can do, and it may not be perfect, but that's okay. And I think that's another thing that has made a difference for me over these last few months.
Oh, good. Sometimes just the best thing we can do is just stop and go out for a walk or go to a movie or something, right? Get our mind off it. Lucy, I saw your hand raised. We would love to hear from you before we wrap up.
Well, honestly, Gina took almost every word out of my mouth, because I can definitely also take Connie, what she was saying, because life is happening right now as we speak. And I was getting overwhelmed because I had, I'm in that Fibic group, having to do this, having to do that every day. And it was like, whoa, I can't. I had to realize I just can't. Now, am I doing more than I was doing before that group? Yes. And I love that, because it has led to results that I can see and that are measurable. But I'm not going to beat myself up because I'm not doing everything that I went in on day one saying that I was going to do. I just know that I do need rest. I can't. And I left my job so that I didn't have to work my business as a job. And that's what it was becoming. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So that was the big shift for me. And I'm happy with doing what I can do when I can do it.
And it will probably grow at the same pace or even faster than that, like it will. So that's such a huge recognition. This is what we talk about, guys, when we talk about personal growth. right? Like a lot of times you'll hear action, 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 and it's so important, but where it's coming from and the energy behind it and having that rest and restoration, you know, is so, so important, and part of the journey. So thank you for pointing that out. I feel like I had another point I was going to make as we were wrapping up, but it just escaped me. But I hope this has been helpful to you guys to hear. Oh, I know what I was going to say is, you hear me say it all the time. We're building businesses of longevity. If you want to build a legacy business, if you want to build a business that will have stability and grow, you want to build it with solid players, you want to be modeling well for other people, and you want the rest of it, because we can't sprint forever. There are sometimes seasons where you work harder, just like Lucy said, she's doing more than she was, but we cannot go full throttle all the time. It's impossible. And so recognize, I just want you to remember, keep it for the long game. It's so often we get so frustrated because it's not happening on our time, but it will happen sooner than you expect. If we can let go a little bit, again, you keep the action, but change the energy behind it and save space for refueling and re-energizing. So thank you to every single one of you guys who shared tonight. This was fantastic. Loved being here with you, and I would love your feedback on it all. So we will wrap this up because I think we show it is 8 o'clock. So Danette, maybe we can get you next time. Thank you for raising your hand, or maybe that was an accident, but I do want to respect everybody's time. So thank you guys. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions about the Essential Start or whatever, head on over to our Facebook group. Thanks, you guys. Bye.